The sun hung low over the vast African savanna like a watchful eye, painting the golden grasses in hues of fire and shadow. In that fleeting moment between day and dusk, when predators stir and the vulnerable hide, a heart-stopping scene unfolded that no one who witnessed it would ever forget. A massive male leopard, sleek and scarred from countless battles, crouched low in a dry riverbed. His golden coat blended perfectly with the cracked earth, but his eyes, sharp, amber flames, betrayed his desperation. 5 spotted hyenas circled him slowly, their hunched shoulders rolling with predatory glee, jaws dripping, maniacal laughter echoing across the plains. They had him cornered against a steep, rocky overhang. No escape. No mercy. The pack leader, an old female with a notched ear and a cruel glint in her eye, stepped forward, testing his resolve with a low, guttural whoop. The leopard roared, a deep, earth-shaking sound that vibrated through the ground, but it was a roar of fear as much as fury. He had not come here to fight. He had come for water, for a quiet drink after leaving his mate and their tiny, blind cub hidden in a thicket miles away. Now, the hyenas had turned his moment of vulnerability into a death sentence. One wrong move, and they would tear him apart piece by piece, laughing all the while. But this was not just any leopard. This was Queasy, a father whose heart beat for the fragile life he had left behind. And somewhere, watching from the shadows of a termite mound, was an even smaller creature whose courage would defy every law of the wild. Her name was Lila, a slender Indian gray mongoose mother, barely 2 kilograms of fur and ferocity. She had wandered far from her usual scrubland home, driven by the relentless need to find food for her own litter of 4 pups, still too young to hunt. Lila's eyes, bright and intelligent, missed nothing. She had seen the leopard pass earlier, majestic and alone, and felt no threat. Leopards rarely bothered mongooses unless provoked. But now, as the hyenas closed in, she froze. Not out of fear, but recognition. In the distance, faint and frantic, came the mewling cry of a leopard cub. It was weak, terrified, calling for its father. Lila's ears twitched. She knew that sound. It was the same desperate plea her own pups had made only days earlier when a jackal had come too close to their burrow. She had fought then, too, tiny teeth against snapping jaws, until the danger passed. Motherhood had forged her into something unbreakable. The hyenas lunged. Queasy twisted, claws raking the air, catching one hyena across the muzzle and sending it yelping back. But there were too many. Another clamped onto his hind leg, tearing muscle. A third went for his throat. Blood flecked the dust. Queasy fought with everything he had, but the pack was relentless, wearing him down, waiting for the moment he would falter. Lila's heart pounded. She could run. She should run. Her pups needed her. Yet something deeper stirred, a fierce, protective instinct that saw not a leopard, but a parent in peril. If Queasy fell here, his cub would starve. Just as her own would if she ever failed them. In the wild, survival was often solitary, brutal. But sometimes, in the rarest moments, it became something more. She darted forward. The hyenas barely noticed her at first. A mongoose? Insignificant. A snack, perhaps. But Lila was no ordinary snack. She zipped between legs like lightning, chittering loudly, a high, piercing alarm call that cut through the chaos. She leaped onto the back of the nearest hyena, sinking her sharp teeth into its ear and twisting. The hyena howled, shaking violently, but Lila held on, riding the bucking beast like a rodeo champion. Queasy, sensing the distraction, surged upward, throwing off 2 attackers. He roared again, this time with renewed fire. Lila dropped to the ground, rolled, and dashed toward another hyena, nipping at its heels, drawing it away from the leopard. She was everywhere and nowhere, small, fast, fearless. Her movements were calculated, instinctive. She knew hyenas hated chaos, hated anything that disrupted their coordinated assault. So she created chaos. One hyena snapped at her, missing by inches. Lila spun, darted under its belly, and bit the soft skin inside its thigh. It yelped and retreated. Another lunged, she feinted left, then struck right, slashing at its nose. Blood flowed. The pack's rhythm broke. They turned on each other in confusion, snapping and snarling as Lila danced among them. Queasy seized the opening. With a powerful leap, he bowled over the leader, claws sinking deep into her shoulder. She screamed and broke away. The others, seeing their matriarch falter, hesitated. Lila chittered again, louder, more insistent, and charged straight at the biggest male hyena, leaping onto his face and clawing at his eyes. That was the breaking point. The hyenas scattered, tails low, whooping in frustration and pain as they fled into the gathering darkness. Queasy stood panting, bloodied but alive. His leg dragged, his flank torn, but his eyes found Lila. For a long moment, predator and prey stared at each other. No words passed between them, only understanding. Then Queasy dipped his head slightly, a gesture no leopard ever made to a mongoose, and limped away toward the thicket where his cub waited. Lila watched him go, her tiny chest heaving. She had no time to bask in victory. Her own babies were hungry. She turned and scampered back across the savanna, disappearing into the grass like a shadow. But the miracle was not over. Hours later, under a canopy of stars, Queasy reached the thicket. His cub, a spotted fluffball no bigger than a house cat, mewled weakly. He lay down beside it, licking its face, sharing what little warmth his battered body could give. The cub nuzzled closer, safe at last. And in a nearby burrow, Lila curled around her 4 wriggling pups, feeding them the last scraps she had scavenged. Exhausted but unbroken, she closed her eyes, knowing she had done what mothers do, protect life, no matter the odds. The savanna holds many secrets, but few as profound as this. In a world ruled by tooth and claw, where every creature fights only for itself, 2 mothers, one large and spotted, one small and gray, prove that courage knows no size, and compassion can cross even the widest divides. Sometimes, the greatest strength is not in fighting alone, but in choosing to stand for another. In the wild, miracles are rare. But when they happen, they remind us that even in the harshest places, love, and the fierce, unyielding will to protect it, can change everything. If this tale of Lila the brave mongoose mother, Queasy the wounded leopard father, and the unbreakable bond of parenthood moved you, smash that like button right now. It helps spread these stories of hope and heart. And if you want more incredible, emotional wildlife adventures that show the hidden kindness in nature, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You never know when the next miracle will unfold. Because out there, every day, mothers and fathers are fighting impossible battles for the ones they love. And sometimes, against all odds, they win. Thank you for watching. Stay wild, stay kind.